It's important because everybody's not going to play football. But football or academic, you're getting your education paid for. We're winning as a community.
Yeah, because we're exploiting the system, Alex.
Absolutely. Ain't nothing wrong with a little exploitation. They did it to us, you know?
Absolutely. But so you talk about, the people that's going through the program. So are there any names that, you can say that who's gone through the program? Of course, Ramel,
Ramel, Ashby, Taysir Mack, he's the first receiver from the PSAL to go to the Big Ten. He's going to Indiana. Justin Phillip, he's been with us the same amount of time. He's going to North Carolina A&T, full scholarship. I'm trying to think who else. Got a couple other kids who are waiting who are going to go through the walk-on process, but like Jordan Hanna at Lincoln, Kareem Davis also at Grand Street. Trying to think who else. Giovanni, I'm trying to think of his last name. I can't remember his last name, but he's at Christ the King. Also, really good academically. He's going to get his education paid for as well. But these are all kids that I've had since they were 11. So now to watch them, they all bigger than me. And you know what I'm saying? They walk up me with the D voice. What's up, Coach Devale? I got to chop them in the throat just to remind them, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I still got this, But it's good to watch them go through that process. And those kids that were in high school, I'm helping them through the NFL process. Help them get an agent, help them train for the combine. And the biggest thing that I do here is I don't charge them the same rate that they were going to have to pay if they were to go, to Bomarito's down south. This is a community-based organization. So the fees they pay ultimately pay for the facility. It pays for everything here. I got coaches who donate time. I donate time. My brother donates his time. So we're doing all this just as a community, and we're starting to see some good benefits, man. In the last 3 years, I've had 3 guys get signed to NFL contracts. KJ Stroud signed with the Jets. Julian Stanford signed with the Jaguars, he's with the Jets now. Jeremiah Brown, he's a Grand Street guy who went to Wagner, signed with the Jaguars. He ended up retiring early because of concussion issues. But these are guys who were Brooklyn guys who wouldn't have had a shot, that because of my network, I was able to put them with the right people. And like I always say, all I did was put them with the right people. They put in the work. Yeah, they made it happen. Like KJ Stroud came in and worked his ass off. Jeremiah Brown, Julian Stanford, they came in and worked their ass off. I got guys this year. Rush Imhotep, he went to Cornell. You talk about prototype, the epitome of a prototype. Went to Poly Prep, trained, graduated from Poly Prep, went to Cornell. Ivy League degree. You know what I'm saying? 6'3", 210 pounds. Has an opportunity to go to the NFL. If he does go to the NFL, it's a plus. If he doesn't, he graduates with a degree from Cornell.
Go anywhere.
Anywhere. While he's here, he's interning. He wants to get into exercise physiology. So during his off season, he's interning here. And I'm teaching him some of the ways to build his own business, some sports science stuff. We do a couple one-on-ones against each other just so that,
I saw that on Facebook. That was crazy.
So, this is what we enjoy doing here. We get to give them that experience. And the good thing is that younger black men who are 11 and 12 get to see older black men in a position of power. They get to see them doing stuff that they are taught from young you'll never do. You know how many of my kids say, I had a better chance of being murdered or in jail than I do going to college? You can't say that when you come through this gym and prototype, because you look at this wall, they all did it. There's too many people. There's too many people here who did it. So that's the biggest thing, is just trying to break the cycle of how black men view themselves, and also black young women.
So, me being a high school quarterback, I look at a lot of people that I grew up with, and it's unfortunate because one, I think it's a big problem that I had was with MSG varsity. I liked when they came out to the games. I thought that was big. One of my favorite games watching was my cousin when he played he played against Lincoln, and he was commentating the game. And that was a crazy game, up and down. It was up and down. Yeah, so, and seeing athletes, I think it gave the New York City players like something to watch. Like, I watched that game like if it happened yesterday. Right. And what do you think is the state of New York sports? Because we don't get that platform all the time.
No, I mean it is a great platform. It was a great platform, but first we got to talk about the business side of things. Cablevision is a business. Right, and their major service provider area was Long Island and New Jersey. So how do you think I feel as a commentator? I gotta commentate games in Jersey, skip over the city, and then commentate games in Long Island. But the way it was explained to me, and when I see it, is a lot of part of Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, we don't have Cablevision. Even Where I live in downtown Brooklyn, we don't have cable vision.
I'm DirecTV. I used to have to go on the computer.
You see what I'm saying? So for them, it was like money-wise. Are we going to send a crew, spend countless of thousands of dollars to cover a game that most of our people can't watch? It didn't make sense to them. So we got cut, which is unfortunate for New York City football. But, I agree with you. It was a platform that other people in other states could have saw. Like, for example, Rutgers. Rutgers in New Jersey, they could watch New York City football and say, hey, look at that kid. And now we don't have that opportunity. And that kind of leads me to where New York City football is in a whole right now. And we lack that national spotlight. This just to put it out there, we lack the national spotlight. And a lot of that has to do with our brand of football. All right. So, for example, the past couple of weeks, we've had, I'd say, about 10 Division I schools come here, from Auburn to Indiana, Rutgers, Syracuse, Michigan. They've all come to Packplex to talk about, who the best kids in the city. So I start asking them questions. Well, why don't y'all recruit the city often?
Right.
Number one thing they say is it's too expensive. And this is what you got to understand. Remember business?
Out of state.
Or, when I break this down, you're going to say, wow, it really has nothing to do with football at all. It has everything to do with finances. Okay, there's an arms race going on in college football right now, right? Everybody wants the biggest facility, best weight room, right? Everybody's, so that costs money, right? Most people don't understand that only 10% of the schools that are throwing all this money into their sports program are actually operating in the black, which means they're making money. 90% of the schools are operating in the red, means they're losing money. So now the president of the school, the professors, are starting to complain and saying, why are we throwing all this money into sports? What about the education aspect of the college? That's first, right? So they say, okay, you know what? We got to cut back. So what do you think the first thing they're going to cut back on? The recruiting budget. Recruit locally. Recruit locally. Our state school is Syracuse. That's not really that local. Rutgers State School is that's New Jersey. They're going to recruit Jersey first. So our kids get left in the dark. So now you get a recruiting budget. You're a recruiting coordinator. Your recruiting budget is, say, $1,500. Are you going to spend $1,500 to go to New York one day, possibly in the 4 hours it takes, possibly get to 3 schools? You got to go from Erasmus to Lincoln to Grand Street to Tottenville to Curtis. Think about how long that would take. As opposed to going to Jersey, it's highways, Paramus Catholics right there. Everybody's right there in one area. Not to mention, the amount of talent in that area is saturated because academically the kids are sound. The sports programs are way better because the schools put more money into the football programs. They pay the head football coaches. The head football coaches are on salary to just be the head football coach. That is a dream, right? In the city, it's not like that. If you're a head football coach at a school, you may not even work at that school. So take Auburn, for example. Auburn came here to look at some kids the other day. They went to a school. I went to schools. Coach wasn't even there. They said he doesn't work in the building. Coach drove 2 hours through traffic to get to the school and couldn't speak to anybody. It's horrible. I'd rather do Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna recruit 3 states, I'm not gonna spend all my money in New York City. Or I'll do upstate New York, the New Rochelle's. Ray Rice went to New Rochelle. You rather go there than to come down into the city. It's just too much. That's the first thing. The second thing is academically, man. Our kids are not prepared. Our kids are not prepared.
Well, what do you mean? They're not eligible to get into the schools, or?
Well, this is the thing, and I think it's important that people understand this. You know how the Board of Education decided that they were going to break apart our schools, and now it's no longer Canarsie, it's Canarsie Campus.
Yeah.
So now Canarsie Campus has 4 principals. The 4 principals create all of their different curriculums. So all of their curriculums have different codes. Now, if you have a kid that's an athlete, you have to make sure that all of your curriculum is registered with the NCAA clearinghouse. It takes one person to drop the ball for a kid to have a 90 average, 1,000 SAT, and still not be eligible because a certain class wasn't registered on the clearinghouse. And you know how often that happens?
How much?
All the time.
Really?
All the time.
And to that, because my thing is, I get scared when we talk about, the 2.3 take a seat or whatever. And it's scary because I'm like, I should be good. And then, they tell me about, you have to have the right classes.
You have to have
what do you mean the right classes? I'm like, that's something that should be already taken care of.
And let me ask you a question. Who do you speak to in your school about that?
speak to my coach and my guidance counselor.
Right. So you're a coach and your guidance counselor. So imagine you're in a school and your coach says, oh, go speak to your guidance counselor. Your guidance counselor says, I don't know. Where do you go? You know how often that happens in New York City? That happens all the time in New York City. I sit here at this desk and parents come in here in droves. Senior year. Coach, you know, we're trying to get this paperwork and they're saying he's not cleared. Well, you know, what did we do? What did we not do? He has over 85. And I'm like, well, first of all, and this is to all the parents, because people want to blame coaches all the time. But there's three people responsible for a kid getting a scholarship. It's the athlete first, the coach, and the parent. If you're gonna sit back idle for 4 years, wait till the 25th hour after his last game of his senior year to finally get involved and say, well, why is my kid not getting offers? It's too late at this point. Whatever stuff had to get done, all of the legwork for that should have been done sophomore year. Now you're playing catch up. That happens all the time. And I understand socioeconomically, if you're a single mom, you got to work 2 jobs to make ends meet, because a lot of the kids I deal with here in Brooklyn come from single parent home. I say about 75% of them come from single parent home. You don't have time to run after guidance counselors.
Because that's the last
thing you're thinking about. A lot of them can't even make it to games. So then it's on the athlete. You want to play college football. You want to play college football, but no. You want to go to practice. You want to maybe do your homework, get the 80 you need, then play video games. Then you know what happens? Last game of the senior year, other people are getting offers. You know what they do? Why am I not getting offers? It's time to start investigating. Brother, it's too late.
It's too late.
So if you're a college recruiter, are you going to go to Jersey and deal with a Don Bosco, whose football coach is in the building and he's paid to just be the coach? He's paid to be on the guidance counselor about the grades and deal with that high level of football, or are you going to deal with the city? You see what I'm saying? It sounds messed up, but it is the case. Here's another issue. We play 9 games.
Well, they just switched it to 9 games. Last season, it was 10.
All right, so we play 9 games, right? How long do you go to camp for?
Camp?
1 or 2 weeks.
1 or 2 weeks, yeah.
1 or 2 weeks. We don't do spring ball.
Right.
And you're not allowed to scrimmage high levels of competition before the season starts, correct?
Correct.
So when a college coach comes look at film of some of my guys, you know what they ask me? Who are they playing against?
Yeah.
Oh, when I say, oh, they're playing against Bushwick Tech. Does Bushwick Tech have anybody on their team that's recruitable? No. So then I can't watch this film. You see what I'm saying?
It's because, so you're saying that it's the competition as well.
Absolutely. It's just our brand of football. We're not allowed to play spring ball. We're not allowed to start camp until probably in August, middle of August. If you look at the rest of the country, in the middle of July, there's teams going away for 3 weeks to camp. They have 2 weeks during those times where they scrimmage. Then they have 2 nationally scheduled games, and then they start the season. So those kids are playing football during the times where our kids are just sitting at home in the summertime figuring, oh, I guess I'm gonna go to camp next week. Right. And then some teams in Brooklyn don't even go away to camp.
Yeah.
They don't go away to camp.
They stay home.
They go to Hell Week. Then after Hell Week, they start the season. You play your 9 games. If you make it to the playoffs, make it to the playoffs. At the end of the playoffs, you're done. We don't even play in the state finals.
Nope.
So we don't even play up north. And this is what's crazy about the PSL, which has bothered the piss out of me. Coach Eugene took his kids to scrimmage Pope John in Jersey.
And Rutgers.
At Rutgers. You know how much national attention that got some of the kids on that roster? That's part of the reason why some of those guys are getting recruited the way they are. Because they played against Pope John. But now the PSL is making it a rule that you can't scrimmage a week before the season starts. The only reason you did that was why? Or only thing you did, accomplished by doing that, was limiting
more people to go to school.